This is Mastering Your Wealth with David Gagnon, the podcast.
It's been a few years since I purchased a car, but you know when you do that whole rigmarole thing and you're test driving this one, then that one, then you go back to the first one, you know that whole dance, right, David?
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, it's a tough decision because it's a big toy to buy, right?
It's
sure
expensive.
Is. Yeah.
Yes, very expensive. I mean, usually you're doing this 15, maybe 30 minutes per car, and if you're really interested, usually they recommend that you request an extended trial from the dealer. You know, that's when you can take the car home, about 24 hours or so, drive it around, get comfortable, see if it's a fit for you. Well, it got me thinking here about deciding when to retire. I mean, it's something that a lot of folks, you can't really answer within 10, 20 minutes. You know, you haven't done it, you haven't test drove it, so to speak. So how can we give our plans an extended test drive before we leave the workforce?
Well, ideally, when you retire, you want two things that need to come together. You are financially ready to retire and emotionally. A lot of times we have people that have one or the other. They're financially ready, but not emotionally, or vice versa. But I always suggest that before people actually make that decision to retire, practice it first, right? And what I mean by that is if you have the ability to take an extended leave from work, whether it's a few weeks or a month, just take that time off and do what you would think you would be doing in retirement, whether it's maybe you go to Florida and you rent a place because you think you might relocate there, spend some time and see how you feel about that, because your day is not structured anymore, right? You have to kind of feel that out and see if you're going to enjoy all that free time and maybe pick up activities or hobbies that you have been doing prior to retirement but want to do more of in retirement, and see how you feel. I mean, emotionally, a lot of people struggle when they retire, and some people might think about relocating. Well, don't just go and buy someplace that you haven't lived there for a period of time just to kind of test out that area. I always try to get my clients to rent in different places before they actually make a decision to buy someplace. But a lot of times people struggle with working on a budget every month because they don't have the paycheck coming in, and they want to see how can they manage that money and what their spending desires might be in the type of lifestyle they want to live in retirement, because everything comes with a price tag. You want to try that out. You want to see if you can manage this and you feel comfortable doing it, and see how your investments, are positioned and whether you're comfortable and how that's going to work out. So you really want to have a test run, and you want to make sure the reality matches your expectations and what worked well and what needs refinement. Because people, this is new for everybody.
Absolutely.
When they retire.
So when you talk about a test run here, I want to get down to, really the details. Is it 2 weeks? Is it a month? Is it 2 months? I mean, how long do we really need to give ourselves to say, I'm ready or I'm not ready for retirement?
Well, I think if you have the opportunity to have a longer practice run than a shorter, that would probably be more reflective of what your retirement might feel like, because some people might have a couple of months vacation they can take where they work. Some people may not. They might only have a few weeks. So it's going to be different for everybody. Before you decide to retire, you want to make sure that you really are financially ready. You should have a plan in place. But I think when you practice retirement, you're really testing the waters out whether you're emotionally ready. And that's a big change for a lot of people, because the structure in their day goes away. Their purpose in life and in their career might be a factor. I mean, my father-in-law, for instance, he was a doctor. He enjoyed being a doctor. Mm-hmm. He didn't retire till he was 75.
Oh, wow.
Financially, he was well off, but gosh, he just loved getting up and helping people, going to the hospital, and he just loved being a doctor. And then after he retired at 75, he went back to college to get a degree in forestry, because he always wanted to be a forest ranger. So yeah, he was pretty unique, and he just had to have some purpose every day and structure, and that's what he liked doing. So, I think it's important that you go for that test run.
Fidelity has reported that when it comes to, I guess, really percentage-wise, people are saving more in their 401ks, but overall, the balances are actually down. So we are saving more, but not seeing the benefit, essentially. So, David, why do you think this is, first of all, and are there better places we can be putting our money to help build it for retirement?
Well, when you're working in your main savings account is your 401k, unfortunately, you have limited options and choices on how you can invest into that plan because there are going to be a whole menu of mutual funds or target date funds. But in the big world of the investments and investment planning, there's so many other things outside of a 401k plan that you can take advantage of to do things differently and have broader diversification amongst many different alternative investment and asset classes and management techniques and product types. And so when you're in your 401k, a lot of people are kind of managing that 401k passively because they might put a certain percentage amongst a portfolio of equity funds and then some fixed income and maybe in the stable value or money market account, and they kind of let it ride. And you're kind of at the mercy of the market. It's going to go up and down, and depending on how much you have in equities versus fixed income will kind of show you how much you're going to lose when the markets are going down or when the markets are going up. And you have to kind of live with it. And a lot of people emotionally, when they hit their financial pain threshold, and if they had a big drop in their 401k, they might bail out of the equities and sell out low, and then shortly thereafter the markets recover. I'm working with a couple right now where that's what they did, and they want to retire in about a year. And what happened was earlier this year, when the market was really volatile, they moved all their money to cash, not just in their 401k, but their IRAs. And now they feel like they're handcuffed and they're scared about trying to get back into the market because they see how well it did when it recovered. And this is where the emotions caught them. And like for most people, they emotionally they made their financial decisions and not rationally and logically. And so now we're working out a plan where we can show them how to recover those losses immediately because there's some certain techniques that we can do, but also position them for the future growth potential of the market and put airbags and hedging strategies, buffers to protect them on that next downside that could occur. And so now we're working through a plan on that. And so now they have peace of mind knowing there is a solution. And because we see things that a lot of times people don't see and what opportunities they have available to maybe fix a problem or that they might have encountered because they just made a bad financial decision. So, and we're seeing that more and more. People are stuck in cash right now because they reacted emotionally earlier this year. And that happened in 2022 a lot. And so you just compound your risk and exposure when you're starting to make your investment decisions purely on emotion.
David, you and I, we've been doing this show for a long time now. We have people that call in and they say, I've been listening to you for 2-3 years. It's finally time for me to get down to business. We also have new folks joining us each and every single week. For those new folks, David, what would you say makes you and First Financial Planners stand out from those other financial folks out there?
Well, we get a lot of calls from people with they call them the folks that they're working with advisors, but in many cases they're selling, they've been sold investments or insurance products, and they don't have a plan. And what's happening is they're not getting answers on all the other areas that they need to make very important financial decisions on, such as when should you claim your Social Security, or how do you make your pension decisions to optimize what you can get out of your pension plan? Because there's some things you can do to get more out of your existing pension plan with the right strategy. How do you protect yourself from losing money in retirement? Or how do you create an income plan with your resources that's sustainable and you don't run the risk of running out of income? And so we do comprehensive planning, and tax planning is a big thing. Most people can't get any tax advice from their person that they might be working with that has sold them the investments or their annuities, because that's not what they do. They're not licensed to do that. And so tax planning is very important, and healthcare planning. So all these different areas that people need to make very important decisions on, they're looking for this type of help, and they realize that we're a resource to create value in those areas and actually put a plan together and take better control over what is going to happen in the future and have better clarity on what people are doing and should be doing differently. Always need to understand, if you're working with a person, what is their focus? What is their specialty? What can they do for you in your planning, and what can't they do? And I think when people understand there's different levels of advisors out there, they need to align themselves with the advisor that is suited for what their needs call for going forward and what they need to accomplish with their financial decisions.
You know, despite the headlines of geopolitics and government policy, believe it or not, the economy remains very resilient, and that's driven in large part by consumer spending. So who's behind the wheel here? Well, here's market researcher Ed Yardini on CNBC.
I think what everybody's missing, or a lot of people are missing, is the consumer's resilience is attributable to the aging and retiring of the baby boom generation. I'm a baby boomer. I have a lot of friends who are baby boomers. And guess what? They've got no more wages and salaries. But when you look at the household net worth, you find that the baby boomers have half of the household net worth. The total is $80 trillion. So, everybody's like ignoring this elephant in the room.
So, David, are you seeing clients spend more confidently in retirement? Bottom line, how can you help them make sure that their lifestyle is going to be sustainable, whether the market is resilient or not?
Well, I see a couple of different groups. People that are spending freely in retirement and are confident in spending that type of money and living their lifestyle the way they would like to, is they are the ones following a plan, because their plans will identify to them that they can do this with their finances because they're aligned to create the income they need and the spending goals that they have. And we also have people that are spending in their mind confidently until it doesn't work. So, we've had people retire and they had over $1 million right in their nest egg, and they thought that they heard all through the years when they were working, you can retire comfortably on $1 million. So everybody's $1 million is of different value to them, depending on how much they need to live off of and what they're going to get in other sources, whether it's pensions and Social Security. But this one couple that came in a few years ago, they had retired, they had no plan, they kept their investments in their 401k, and they were spending, going on trips, bought a car, this and that. And next thing you know, they were down by 50% in 4 years in their nest egg. And they thought they were going to live well into their 90s. And then they started to kind of take a step back and look at their finances, and they said, well, we can't do this very much longer and live the lifestyle we have. So, they became clients. Now, they had to make some spending adjustments, but you can spend confidently when you know your numbers, right? And you have a plan. And now a lot of people might have plenty of money to spend, but we see people are afraid to spend because they haven't validated whether they can do so or not, because they're not working off of a plan. And so a lot of times we'll get folks that come in and they're looking for permission to spend their money. And so what we do is we put their plan together and we make sure they have all the right strategies and backup strategies. So in the event something happens to a spouse health-wise, or somebody passes away, we have a backup plan for the spouse and out-of-pocket health care. And now these folks now are enjoying retirement because we gave them the confidence and the validation that they can spend this and be fine for the rest of their life. And so it comes down to planning. I think that's the key. And as I say this over and over again, people are not doing planning. They're just kind of going with the flow of what they've done all their life and hope for the best. They have a plan of hope. And you don't want to do that with your finances. So, if anybody's listening, get off the plan of hope and put together your own strategic plan. We're there to help you out, and we do all the heavy lifting. We make the process very simple. All we need to do is spend a little bit of time, get a few questions answered, know what your spending desires are, and evaluate your current financial picture looking into the future. And if we do that, people reduce their financial anxiety substantially because they know their numbers and now they have a plan. And that's the key.
For more details or to sit down with David for your complimentary financial GPS, visit masteringyourwealthradio.com.
Investment advisory services offered through Brookstone Wealth Advisors, LLC, BWA, a registered investment advisor and an affiliate of Brookstone Capital Management, LLC. BWA and First Financial Planners are independent of each other. Insurance products and services are not offered through BWA, but are offered and sold through individually licensed and appointed agents.
Information provided is not intended as tax or legal advice and should not be relied on as such. You are encouraged to seek tax or legal advice from an independent professional.
Any comments regarding safe and secure products and guaranteed income streams refer only to fixed insurance products. They do not refer in any way to securities or investment advisory products. Fixed insurance and annuity product guarantees are subject to the claims paying ability of the issuing company and are not offered by Brookstone.
David Gagnon and First Financial Planners are not affiliated with nor endorsed by the Social Security Administration or any other government agency.
Registered investment advisors and investment advisor representatives act as fiduciaries for all of our investment management clients. We have an obligation to act in the best interest of our clients and to make full disclosure of any conflicts of interest. Please refer to our firm brochure, the ADV 2A Item 4, for additional information.